I'm back. So a few years ago, around 2023, I had a client who had a gaping mother wound, a really, really big wound that's related to mother. If you don't know anything about mother wound, just scroll down, you'll see some of the videos I've done on mother wound. But around the year 2020, I started reading up and researching on the mother wound theory and concept. And by 2022, I had grasped it enough to even teach on it. I even had two events, one in Centurion, Naledi Farm, and one in Bulugwane, teaching on the mother wound. So anyway, I had engrossed myself in the mother wound work because I understood that as South African Black women, a lot of our issues are around the mother. A lot, not all, but a lot of our issues involve the mother. And, I make it a point that in every client that I coach, I always ask about the mother. So anyway, this client came to me and she said, we had session 1 of starting to understand each other. Session 2, I had figured that there's the mother issues there. By session 3, I then, said to her, look, I'm going to give you a meditation on mother wound because I want you to explore this aspect of yourself. And I want us to really dive deep into the mother wound. And I will never forget her response to me. And the response was in a voice note. And she said to me, listen, Coach Lebo, I don't want to do anything that makes me feel, particularly around my mother. I have done enough therapy where we did a lot of emotional processing. I'm not interested in emotional feel. I don't want to feel anything. I just want you to help me overcome this, and the other. And needless to say, that was one of our last conversations. I did respond to her. And it got me thinking, I'm remembering this story, and I have many, many stories. I did promise you that I'm going to share a lot of client stories. So I'm remembering this story because recently I have a new client who is very intellectual, very analytical, who asks a lot of questions. Yeah, and I love that. I love that as a teaching coach, I love clients who ask me questions. I mean, she asks questions like, why do you do breath work before we start? Why do you make us take deep breaths? Why must I sit quietly and breathe deeply? And I would explain, why do you this? Why do you this? So the other day she asked me, but I love your meditations. They calm me down. But why do we need to do meditations in healing? And I was like, aha, thank you so much for a video topic that I can teach on. So I want to talk about why is it that we use meditation as as a healing tool. So a lot of people think meditation, first of all, is weird, especially people who are Christian inclined. They believe meditation opens up to other spirits. It opens up it makes you vulnerable. It opens your crown chakra, your third eye, and so on, which, I mean, we can talk about meditation all day, but I just want just want to hone in on why we use it, especially as psychospiritual coaches. Why is meditation one of the biggest healing tools that we use? I personally have about 10 meditations that I give to my clients, and I'll talk about those a bit later. And so she was asking, why do we need to do meditation? So a lot of people think meditation is like she's thought. It's firstly to calm you down, or it's going to open you up. So it's either people like it because of the way it makes them feel, it calms them down, it relaxes them, it makes them sleep, it makes them not think, which is all part of it. Yes, it is part of it. Other people fear meditation because they, like I've just said now, it feels satanic or it feels esoteric or it feels otherwise, and it sort of clashes with some of their religious beliefs. And so that's why it's like, some clients, when I'm like, can I give you a meditation? They would rather take an affirmation than a meditation. And affirmations play a different role, which I'll talk about some other time. So why then do we use meditation as coaches, especially life coaches and psychospiritual coaches like me? Why do we use meditation in our teachings or in our coaching? Okay, so I'm going to put my glasses so that I look at my notes as per usual. As you know, my eyes are really, really bad these days. So why then do we use meditation as a healing modality in life coaching? First of all, remember a few videos that I've done, I said that healing happens in the body. So you cannot heal by analyzing. You cannot heal by being aware of your problems. A lot of people think awareness only, like, I know my toxic trait is this, or I know that I had a horrible childhood, or I know that this and this happened to me in childhood. That's just awareness. That is not healing at all. It is step 1. A lot of people also think that acknowledging, meaning I accept that I had this childhood, I accept my mother is this and that, I accept that I was abandoned. That's also not healing. It might just be closer than awareness. It's step three. And then there's also accepting that you cannot change the past, which is also part of healing. But then meditation is embodied. So meditation moves you away from the head into the body, not necessarily to relax you like other people think meditation does that. It might do that if it's not guided. But the type of meditations that a coach like me would give you would be a guided meditation for the specific thing that you are struggling with or for the thing that we agreed on. For an example, I would give you an inner child meditation if you have some form of trauma that you are aware of, that you have acknowledged, that you have accepted, but then now we need to what? To get it into the somatics of things, to integrate and release it. And meditation, guided meditation is brilliant at that because it gets you out of the analytical space of the looping of the head into the feeling, into the body, doing the things that the body needs to do to release, to integrate and release, and then eventually move on. Because you need to literally release pain through the body. There is absolutely no other way. And I'm not saying this in a weird way. I'm saying this because I have experienced it myself and I have seen clients literally move pain, move trauma out of their body and actually move on with their lives, right? So meditation, guided meditation helps you get into those layers of the body, those areas in the body where pain, where trauma, where memory, where unprocessed emotion is sitting. So that's why some people are terrified of meditation once they know what it does, especially the plain one. One of the meditations I give if you're brand new is a body scan meditation. I am not talking about a moment because the meditation you would get would, if it's an inner child meditation, for an example, I would do inner child and I would take you to the inner child spaces based on what you and I spoke about in session. But if it's just a generic one, like the body scan, a lot of my clients find that really, really interesting because they, for the first time, some of them for the first time in a very long time, or even ever, are sensing, are getting sensations, are getting memories, are getting emotional feelings that they never thought they had. I mean, I had a client just recently, I think around January or early February, who was shivering, who was saying the entire left-hand side of her body was just shivering, and she didn't know what to do with it. And that is what guided meditation, especially if you are open to it, especially if you have gone a few layers into your healing. But if you're still very much in your head, a body scan meditation would make you feel numb, which for me is not that it's not working. It's actually information. The fact that you are numb tells me that, okay, so we have a few other things to do for you to get into the body. You have a lot of bodyguards, literally. Your psyche, your system has bodyguards. It's trying to keep you safe because what emotions are not safe. So meditation in life coaching is part of one of the biggest modalities that I use. Yes, as well as journaling. Yes, as well as affirmations and practical day-to-day observation exercises. But meditation, guided meditation, helps one get out of the analytical head and get into the body. So meditation slows the mind enough for the person to start noticing those sensations that sometimes they don't notice. I mean, some people will say that, hey man, I felt pain on my hips and I just didn't understand. For every time I sit down or I lie down and do the body scan meditation, this pain in the bloody hip just comes up. King you are a lawyer or what? I'm like, no, you are finally allowing the biggest part of who you are, which is your body, to actually speak, to actually release, to actually tell you what is going on with yourself, what is going on in the emotional body, what is going on in the physical body. Because most of the time, especially high functioning, hyper vigilant, hyper functioning South African Black women who are working very hard, who we love, do not have a chance to truly get into the body The only body work that most women do is to go to gym and to run on that treadmill or do a spinning class or aerobics, which to a certain extent helps, but it's a release. It's just a release. That's why after a gym you feel so great. But you have to go back again tomorrow or the next day. You can't do a week without doing gym, without starting to feel really, really heavy and really weird. And a lot of people think it's about vitality. Most of the time, it's because of the issues that you carry that you have not actually given them time to release in a contained space of a life coaching guided meditation. So you just run the thing off. And sometimes it works if that's what your body needed, but sometimes your body does not need to run. Sometimes your body does not need to spin. Sometimes your body just needs to lie down flat. In fact, if anything, a lot of us, a lot of Black South African women need to rest. And because you're not going to rest for you only, you're going to rest for your ancestors as well. Remember, we once said that when you heal, as a woman, when you heal, you are not only healing yourself, you are also healing generations behind you and generations ahead. So meditation, in case you've also asked yourself that question, but why do they always talk about this meditation? Meditation is one of the biggest way that you can find out where the pain is, where your body stores problems, where your body stores trauma, where your body stores unprocessed emotions, where your body froze, where your body stopped functioning, where your body is hiding certain things. And different guided meditations talk to different issues. For example, a guided meditation on the mother wound would completely sound different to a guided meditation on forgiveness, on self-love, on self-acceptance. There's just many of them. Personally, in my own practice, I have about 10 meditations. I have a few more to record because as I'm meeting new clients and getting new problems or new issues that are coming up, we know that we need to create more. For example, a lot of us women, a lot of women, or rather, a lot of the clients that I'm getting are in their masculine. And it's a video we did sometime last year, why being in the masculine as a woman is not good for you long term, what the role of masculine energy is, and why you should not be in your masculine. So I'm seeing that a lot of women, excuse me, struggle to get out of masculinity, to get out of masculine mode, to get out of high functioning. So a guided meditation to get you into the feminine is necessary. So I'm going to be, recording those as well. Let me see what else I need to share with you around meditation and coaching. Meditation, especially if you follow instructions. If I say to you, do this meditation every evening for the next 10 days, you need to do that. The reason for repetition is to tell your nervous system that you are now okay in the body. You are not going to run. You are not going to be restless. You are not going to stand up and start cleaning, or you're not going to take a glass of wine and numb the feelings. You are not going to scroll onto TikTok and numb the feelings. You are actually going to lie there or sit there, depending on what I said you must do. Or what the guided meditation said you must do. And for the next 10 to 15 minutes, you're just going to be there and allow those feelings, those sensations, those pain, that weirdness to come up. And so the repetition then tells the nervous system that don't worry, I am safe. It is safe. You can bring it up. You can bring whatever up. It is safe. Because if the nervous system does not feel safe, it's not going to release. And what makes it safe? Repetition every day, because then the body says, oh, it looks like every evening this is what I do. So it's fine. I can let go. She's not gonna run, she's not gonna brace, she's not gonna abandon the body. Are you with me, somebody? Okay, so guided meditation and repeating it will calm the nervous system enough, or rather will calm the body enough for the nervous system to release what it needs to release. Number three, the reason we use guided meditation in life coaching and psychospiritual coaching is that it is the best way to release complex emotions gently. So emotions like grief, some people don't grieve. People think that grief is for when you have lost someone through death. People generally don't grieve certain things. I remember, if I can just be personal here, I lost a business when I was in my 20s. I went bankrupt and I lost a home and cars, and I lost even an identity of being an entrepreneur. And I did not grieve that until a few years later, when I was, no, not a few years later, I think until 2 years later, when I was living alone in Boksburg. I have written about it in my book Alone. And I mean, I even wrote about it for about 3 to 4 months straight. Every time I would go to bed, before sleeping, I would want the room to be completely dark. I even bought dark curtains so that it's black, it's dark. And eventually, when I saw a therapist after, the therapist was saying, unbeknown to you, your body was wanting to be back into the womb, was not literally my mother's womb, but it was simulating the safest space it has ever been, which is dark and wet and warm in a cocoon in a womb. So I was protecting myself and I was putting myself in a state of safety. And I used to do that every night and I would just lie flat. I did not know that I am healing myself. And I would sob. My body would shiver. You know, the snotty one. And I would literally cry myself to sleep. And and I would do that every day, every evening after work. I would not put on the TV. I would never put on the light, and I would not eat because I would have eaten kontle at work. After work, I would eat early, and I would go home, take a shower, and lie on my bed, and my body would shiver, and I would cry the sobs that I have never had in a long time. The last time I had those sobs, okay, it was quite recent, around 22 for different reasons. But I was grieving. I was lying flat in a meditative position and I was allowing old grief to surface, but I didn't know that I'm doing that. And now I teach that and I guide that to my clients. I coach my clients to do that and to trust and allow the body to do what the body knows how to do. Our bodies, guys, know how to heal themselves. They really do. Yes, a lot of guidance is necessary, but also a lot of willingness and a lot of allowing. Okay. So that is the third reason. When you are in meditation, especially when you listening to guided meditation from your coach, you are allowing old trapped traumas, grief, anger, sadness. Some people scream like, hey, you know, things to just get out of the body. So I would not do my coaching work well if I don't give you a meditation or two or three or four, depending on what your issues are. And that is the reason we use meditation. We want you to feel, unlike the client who said, I don't want to feel anything. I had to let her go because if you don't want to feel, then what do you want me to do? Go to church. Then go to church. And then you will be inspired on Sunday. You will feel the Holy Spirit. And then you'll go on with your life Saturday, Monday to Saturday. And then Sunday, go get another dose. And then go get another dose because then you don't want to feel. That's what church does. This is you know, church. Unless if there's a church that you know that asks you to go deep and heal, then you know, then that's a different church. And I'm sure such churches are coming up. But yeah, that is why we do meditation. In life coaching, and I would love to hear your stories of meditation. Do comment, guys. I know my content is a bit intense and you probably don't know how to comment, but try. Just ask me a question. Maybe let's start today. Ask a question. And if it's a deep question, I will bring it up as its own video. And if I can just comment back and answer you on the comments, I will do so. Please talk to me. And also, I have 6 more spots before we reach 200, just 200, not 200K, just 200 subscribers. So if you are liking what you are hearing, and if you are already here in the video and you have not subscribed, that would be awesome if you could. And this is my story. I cannot wait to hear yours.